What's up, guys?
Hey guys, it is Scotch for Dummies.
Four guys on a Scotch journey to help you with your next Scotch purchase. And I'm telling you, I hope it's one of these because
it could be.
This guy is 2018. 2018 was, I think August 2018 was the last time we actually reviewed this bottle. You're watching us, you like bloopers.
Right? Do you see this box? This fine quality engineered hardwood box?
Finally.
We need this song of
Finally got a chance to do this one.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. And this bottle is, from memory alone, and just from years of talking about it, this is a fabulous bottle.
This is one that you seek out, like you go to the whiskey shows back when they had those, right? And this was the one that you were like, okay, well, I've had all the other Glenmorangies, right? Like, can you give me the one that's back behind the table to have a little sip of that?
Now, this is not like the normal Glenmorangies, right? The lineup-wise.
No.
We know that the 10, the original, is kind of the foundation for most of what their bottles go through range-wise. But this one stands out, right, Andrew?
Yeah, so this is a completely different mash bill. Glenmorangie is well known for their start with your core, start with the original,
Right.
and then work out from there. Well, this is a beautiful bottle. I love the marketing that goes into it, the design of that whole system.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this has a lot of coffee malt in it, which is what they do is they roast the malt until it's basically chocolate, dark chocolate. It takes out any of the alcohol value of that malt, but it does impart a rich flavor that is unlike anything Glenmorangie puts out. This is actually my favorite bottle from Glenmorangie because of the unique flavor and the dark, rich chocolates in it. But it's been a minute since I actually had a glass of it. This is opened, but I don't remember tasting it when it opened. So
this is an NAS bottle, non-age statement, 46% ABV. So, you know, it's from the ABV perspective, it's in the same line as all the others in the series, but because of the different mash bill, not really a brother or sister. They just happen to go through the same tall stills.
It's a one-off.
you do have the tall
Glenmorangie.
stills, yes.
So it's an interesting.
Wow.
Like it's basically an experimental bottle, correct?
That's what I'd call
They were
it.
taking a swing and then they decided this is really good. We should bottle it up and see where we go.
When you talk about having, you know,
Wow.
right? That's exactly what you get, that wow
Totally
factor.
forgot.
If you've had experience with Scotch whiskey, we've had some experience, just a wee bit, right? And
Yeah.
we know some flavors. But when you go to nose this, it's like none other. It's completely it stands out by itself. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I rub my hands on the bottle, and that's a good way to get a really, intense flavor from the nose because you get all that surface area. And it is you smell that almost coffee, chocolate.
coffee and
But it's got like
syrup and
I get burnt orange and there's an almond
That
note in there.
So that's why these guys have much more attuned noses.
To me, it's kind of like walking into a really high-end bakery that has just like all the really good spices and like the concentrated like orange oils and marzipan and things like that. And it's just got all of those different aromas coming together, and it smells sweet and just opulent.
that's actually really interesting when you think about visually. It's like walking into a donut shop and you get this hints of coffee, but some of the sugar and some kind of other stuff baking in the back.
Yep.
Man, that chocolate malt just.
I mean,
That's
it's
so much
so
flavor.
crazy good on the nose, like just the coffee. And obviously, if you don't like coffee, maybe not so much, but most people, I think, like coffee. So this is,
Man,
it's so good on the nose.
I had totally forgotten.
So this reminds me when you're brewing beer and things, if you take the roasted or even the roasted or the caramel malts and just take a piece of that malt and chew on it, it's like this. You really taste that maltiness coming through.
So this has the malt, but it also has like I definitely get the burnt orange on the palate. I get a little bit of hint of the like almondy marzipan kind of thing going on.
Yes.
What was the other thing that I just had on the tip of my tongue? There was something else that was just like, oh my god, I can't believe it. And then there's like a coffee note to it.
You know what? It reminds me of that like sesame seed and a little bit of some sesame seed oil, or maybe some kind of like a, I don't know, stir fry type sauce. Like I'm not hoisin. Is that it? I think hoisin's.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of that a little bit. The hints of that.
So this isn't. This is weird because I say it's not a light Scotch, but it kind of is. I mean, so that's where it's not like heavy. I mean, there's some oiliness to it, but it's not like a heavy peated or over smoky or an over sherry. It's just it's got these kind of unique flavor palettes, but it's not like punch in the face. You have to kind of explore it because they're unique.
But
Wow.
I still think, I mean, the finish is long. It's got a lot of stuff going on. I got green tea on this one on the finish now. But it's
So you're
kind
saying
of got
it's
that like,
complex.
yeah. I mean, it's got that espresso dark chocolate thing going
yeah.
on the back end. There's just a ton of stuff going on in this glass. And at 46 ABV, like you don't expect it to be that flavorful.
Yeah, it explodes. It really does in your palate. I mean, I'm really excited to go back with water on this because normally
So,
it opens up even more with these type of strong flavors. Is it going to hold it?
dude, it smells so sweet now. Caramel coming out, and vanilla, which I
Really?
wasn't getting before. It really brought that, I think, a little more forward.
So, boys, I do want to call out one negative thing on this so far. 'Cause obviously, we're in love with this bottle, but one negative thing is the tariffs have obviously increased here
Yeah.
a little bit. When we reviewed this bottle 4 years ago, I think it was under $200.
Yeah.
It's a good $200 plus these days. So probably like $250, $240, something like that.
Until they
So
get
if
rid
you
of the
find
tariffs.
cheaper.
Yeah, the tariffs are tough
So
on it.
that makes it a little harder, but we'll see what we do at the end of this.
So that, for me being the tightwad that I am, that will knock down the price a little bit on it or my rating on it because I just it
hard to
has
spend that.
it has to be worth that money for me to go and put this on my bar
I
again.
think he's going to surprise himself.
Man.
I think you might like this one and say, screw your tightwad.
It's so good. Now I get some more of the vanilla coming out. Now that I put water on it, it's got the orange up front, burnt orange, and it fades into a nice, like real vanilla custard kind of thing, and it's super good, man.
Yeah.
This reminds me almost of the King as far as just the explosion of flavors that you're getting. And you can,
Yep.
I mean, we're calling out stuff like it's no problem, right? And it's one of those things where I don't think you have to be a super, Scotch enthusiast to call these flavors out. They're there. They're not hard to pick out, and
Nope.
they're prominent.
Yeah.
Yeah, cinnamon. I mean, you're right. So you called me on if that price is going to affect me, and I don't know if it will because this is
I knew it.
this is a okay. So it's a celebratory bottle. You have to want it. You have to.
Know of it.
You need to plan for it because it is expensive. But wow.
Finish the marzipan and coffee notes and the toffee.
Yeah, and the
Are in the finish,
little
just
chocolate
sitting there in
and
the finish.
cinnamon and
Like it's-
cream. Yeah.
All right, I'll
Go
go.
for it.
Yeah, you go
I'll
for
go.
it.
All right. It's going to come as no surprise that this is a very good bottle.
So good.
The price is prohibitive, right? Like you're
Yeah.
not going to. This isn't an everyday sipper for most people, but if you're going to spend the money and you're comparing this to a few other bottles in that price range, which is what we're talking
That's
about,
exactly
right?
right.
You've already got the money set aside and you want to try this bottle. This is completely different from any other bottle in the Glenmorangie lineup. I mean, it is a very unique because of the different mash bill and stuff. It doesn't taste
Right.
like any of the
Right.
others.
Yep.
If you have a chance to go try it at a bar or something before you pull the trigger, that might be, helpful. But I can tell you at a bar, you're probably going to spend $50 or $60 on a dram, so you might as well just buy the bottle
Might as
and
well.
give it a shot. It is deep and complex. It hits you in the face with the flavors that we're talking about. I know a lot of people struggle, especially when they first start out with, all these people talk about all of these flavors, and I just can't get them in this whiskey that I'm drinking. Like, I don't know where they're picking this out. You won't have that problem with this bottle.
Nope.
I mean, they're there and they're prevalent,
Yeah.
but not in a bad way. I mean, everything flows very nicely from one flavor to the next. It's just a very well put together whiskey. I'm going to give it a 3.5. I know that it's expensive, but it's a very good whiskey. I think that it's got super depth and character. It's not quite a 4 level for me, but it's really close.
Gosh, it's so close. It's so close.
It is
Sean.
close. It
I
is
mean,
close.
because I'm right there with you. Everything you said, absolutely to the T. I mean, I love everything about it. It holds water perfectly,
Wonderfully.
Even so much to say it adds more flavor to it.
does.
Like
It
it
does.
evolves. I mean, this is one of those glasses. Honestly, you said it, celebratory. Pour yourself a glass. put a coin on top of it or whatever, enjoy it for a half hour to 45 minutes, and just let it evolve, because it's going to have so many great flavors out of it. The water does wonderful to it, or not. Just let it evaporate and do its own thing on its own. The hard thing that I'm going to come out of this one is just, it is complex. Everything you said, it's the price. That's the hard thing. If tariffs weren't there, maybe it's closer to 200 range. So I'm going to go on that, just generosity, if you will. But it's hard because I've given 4s to lots of stuff, and price does come into it. So I have to be strict to those guidelines to myself and say I can't give it a 4. I would love to give it a 4 just based off flavor alone, but the price is hurting it somewhat. So I'm going to give it a 3.5 as well. I mean, it's still worth it. It's one of those bottles where if I know that you're into Scotch whiskey and you've had some good bottles, I'm going to be like, dude, come over to my house. I've got a bottle for you that's going to blow you away, and it's this one.
Yeah, I would agree. This is almost better when I let the finish linger, because as you let it
Chew it.
sit and let it taper out, it becomes like tiramisu. I know you see that on the website.
Yeah, that's a great call.
You totally see it on the website too, and I looked that up, but it's true. It does build into that. You get creaminess and a little coffee and a little, all that together. I think it's better with a little water because it does sweeten it up a little bit. It's a little bit, it's not harsh, but it's almost flat a little bit right out of the bottle. Now, maybe if you let it sit and you add some water to it, it just pops. So is it a 4? It's expensive for a 4. It doesn't have like multiple layers of things. I mean, it's really good in that kind of chocolate cinnamon range, but it doesn't have any real sweet fruits and smoke or peat or any of those kind of things that can kind of work together. A 3.5 is a generous call. Almost a 4, I would agree. If this was $189, probably a 4. I would say it's probably worth that. So great whiskey.
So there you go. I can do the math on that one.
3.5s, guys. I am so glad we got a chance to do this one. I just want to say thanks, Dan. You're the best. We love everything Glenmorangie does. The whole line is really great.
Yes.
Absolutely.
This bottle right now, though, is just spectacular. And if you get a chance to try it, do yourself a favor and do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really good.
All right, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.